The fallen heroes of El Nino. The California Highway Patrol honors the officers who lost their lives to the storm. White House under fire. No escape for the president, even on his winter vacation in Utah. And an adoption challenge. One parent's fight over her child's medical history.
This is the CBS Evening News with Paula Zahn.
Good evening. The death toll from this week's tornadoes in central Florida now stands at 40. Officials there called off the search for a 23-year-old man who had been missing. His body was not found. In Florida and in California, as Manuel Gallegos reports, friends and relatives stopped to remember those who died from El Nino's killer storms.
In central Florida, a heartfelt day of mourning for victims of last week's tornadoes. At one service today, there were 3 caskets, a grandmother, grandfather, and daughter, all members of the Hall family. The only survivor, the family's 5-year-old granddaughter, too injured to be at the funeral.
Death at any hour is sad, and it's difficult to deal with, and especially so when it comes suddenly and without warning.
In Santa Maria, California, a remarkable show of compassion for 2 highway patrol officers killed in last week's storms.
They were truly 2 heroes. You have every reason to be so proud of their performance.
The men were responding to a driver distress call when a raging river suddenly tore a chunk of highway from below them. Their patrol car plunged into the water, burying them inside. Rescuers could do little.
You expect a big car wreck during a pursuit or a Code 3 response of some kind, or a shooting or whatever, but just to fall off a washed out road, and it just seems so useless.
El Nino has taken a terrible toll. 90 people have died in this season's storms, from Canada's ice to Florida's tornadoes to 9 deaths in California from mudslides and freak accidents. This is the first time in 30 years a CHP officer has died in the line of duty in Santa Maria. No one here will ever doubt the destructive force of El Nino again. Manuel Gallegos, CBS News, Los Angeles.
President Clinton is taking a break tonight from his Western family ski vacation for a briefing on California El Nino damage. Meanwhile, in Utah, a White House spokesman responded to reports Scott Pelley broke last night concerning Mr. Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. Scott, what's the latest on that?
Paula, sources close to the president have told CBS News that Mr. Clinton has been shaken to his core, quote unquote, by this scandal. Mr. Clinton has not offered his own explanation of his relationship with Monica Lewinsky, but slowly and privately, his White House defense team is beginning to offer an alternative to Lewinsky's claim of a sexual relationship. As the president wrapped up a short winter vacation in Utah, he was not commenting on the Lewinsky matter. But 2 sources close to the president's defense tell CBS News the relationship with Lewinsky started as a platonic one, became physical, but stopped well short of sex. These sources say Mr. Clinton's defense suggests Lewinsky exaggerated when talking with friends about the relationship, and that stories of the alleged exaggerations got back to Mr. Clinton before the scandal broke. This account is a new wrinkle in an evolving White House defense. First, there was Mr. Clinton's denial without explanation.
But I want to say one thing to the American people. I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Later, spokesman Mike McCurry said the relationship could be very complicated. If there was a simple explanation, he said, we would have offered that up already. Now, White House sources are adding details, saying that Lewinsky's 37 visits to the White House were mostly to see Mr. Clinton's secretary and only rarely to see Mr. Clinton himself. CBS News reported some of these details last night. McCurry denied there is an evolving strategy. He said, quote, the president has not characterized the nature of the relationship, nor am I aware that he plans to. Mr. Clinton's lawyers do not want him to say any more about it until Lewinsky goes before the grand jury and locks in her story under oath. Paula?
Thanks, Scott. In other news, the UN said today that its greatly expanded oil for food deal with Iraq should get underway in early April. But Iraq claims it can't produce the amount of oil allowed. Alan Pizzi in Baghdad has more on a Persian Gulf catch-22.
The burning oil fields of Kuwait, an unforgettable image of a war that was as much about oil as it was about Saddam Hussein. Today, the Iraqis made it clear they believe their latest troubles with the West, especially the U.S. and Britain, are also about oil.
They want to undermine the sovereignty of Iraq. They want to break Iraq. They don't want an independent leadership in the area. They want to dictate their terms. They want to control oil fields in the area.
Iraq is now using its own enormous oil reserves as a pawn. The UN has given Iraq permission to double the amount of oil it is allowed to pump and sell under a deal known as oil for food.
This would enable the government then to put much more money into not just foods and nutritional needs, but of course into the medical health sector.
Every stage of the oil for food deal is monitored by the United Nations, which believes the suffering caused by sanctions could be alleviated if Iraq could produce oil at the new levels. The Iraqis say they can't because they need more money for maintenance and spare parts. And this is where politics and oil get mixed again. New deals to exploit the vast Iraqi oil fields are already being cut. With those countries, Baghdad considers its friends.
We have signed with the Russians, with the Chinese. We hope in the very near future we sign with France.
Russia, China, and France. The three members of the Security Council who from the beginning opposed the latest U.S. military confrontation with Iraq. As one diplomat here put it, there is little that happens in this region that isn't about dollars and oil. The positions of governments mean little. What counts most is why a stand was taken. And the answer, more often than not, is money. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Baghdad.
Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, decision time on the issue of Puerto Rican statehood. Plus, the alarming increase in asthma among children and what's being done about it. And Bill Bradley with some choice words about an American education shortcoming.
There are those in life who watch and those who do. Anna is a doer. Thanks to Advil. It works fast, right at the site of arthritis pain. For all kinds of pain, Advil simply lets people do what they love to do.
I'm gonna fly! Easy Spirit's new anti-gravity walking shoe absorbs 36% more shock than the leading walking shoe. The new anti-gravity walking shoe, only from Easy Spirit.
Parenting is a constant learning process. What you have to do is prioritize.
Back in '88, Earl wanted to retire, spend more time with Tiger.
My dad taught me.
I met an American Express financial advisor. Dave is a personal friend of mine to this day. We trust each other because we've got a track record.
It's about making smarter decisions.